On today's episode of Let's Talk FGO, your two completely normal hosts who are definitely here all the time will talk to you about Easter, about interviews, possibly, and about, finally, the welfare actually happened. And you can look at it now. Look at him. Look at him. He's right in the thumbnail. Isn't he adorable? Pinchable little cheeks. Hello. Anyway, I am one of your hosts, the Court of Jupiter, Omega. With me, as always, on that ringside orbit of Saturn, Lucky.
Questions about these names, but I'll get back to that later. I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, also known as Supports As Far As the Eye Can See. And while we're here, I would like to bring you the latest. And did I mess up my intro?
I think you did.
I think I bamboozled it. Anyway, I'll
That's
just do
like
it
the
from
first time in like 230 Well, that's not entirely true. We didn't do the intros exactly the same way for forever, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, no, like I'm looking at the text and I'm trying to do text to speech here, and it's completely fucked up. Wild. Hang on.
Take two, everybody. Take two.
Take two. I hope everyone is enjoying Fate Grand Order, also known as Supports As Far As I Can See. And while we here at Studio Mega like to bring you the latest NetJoes related news and memes, we will still be talking about current and future events for both the JP and EN versions of the game, so anyone not wanting spoilers should get back to the grind.
Yep. And as for the nicknames, normally I just kind of like, if I don't have a specific idea in mind or specific joke, mostly when I start the show, I just kind of like black out and words come out, and then the show starts. So, am I possessed by a higher power while we do that? I don't know.
All right, there, I fixed it.
Okay, but hi everybody, how you doing? We're back. Everything's perfectly normal for this show. You can't believe how normal it is. It's very normal. Everything's normal here. How are you?
You're really slamming this normal button. I find that hilarious. He was talking about how we're dictators earlier. Completely normal dictators. It's great.
Well, the trains run on time, so everything's okay.
Sick.
But this episode is brought to you by our lovely patrons, who include but are not limited to Adam DeHarp, Hago Comics, Kazumi, 10, Blackister G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jester LaFay, Jonathan Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Regent Raptor, Robyn, Trevor, Sean Pryor, some guy named Bob, Sarah, 23, and During the Crow. If you like what we do want to see more, consider supporting on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it really helps us out. There is a fly in here still. Get the fuck out of here. Stop hugging my computer screen. Get out of here. Anyway, thank you very much, patrons. We appreciate your support. And yes, I had a new name in there, so I managed not to nuke myself.
Self-nuke.
I would love to just... I've been watching way too much Russian Badger to kill time lately. I just want the tactical nuke button. I just want to slam it. Y'all know the sound.
Ah, man.
71%!
Watching Soviet Wumble and Russian Badger just makes me want to play PvP with people. I'm going to immediately regret that if I ever do, but, I can dream about having a decent PvP experience.
Yeah, I would love... I mean, he's got so many Siege videos. It makes me remember that I actually really love Siege. I'm just kind of middling at it. And also, it's unfortunately, over its history, been a very nickel-and-dimey game. But, I really wish I had 5 loser friends to play Siege with and just shoot the shit. But maybe someday. But, hey... Before we go down that rabbit hole, because tune in for What's Up, our regular podcast about other stuff. I can tell you about what video games I've been playing this week. Lucky is playing Cyberpunk right now and yelling about it.
Listen, I tried to jump over a fence and I landed on the barbed wire and just spent 3 minutes on there. Not 3 minutes, but 3 seconds.
Tune into that show, live as always. So, I would like to continue our regularly scheduled Let's Talk FGO. I shall press the mash button.
Senpai!
Because it is time for Wake the Fuck Up Senpai, Wake Up for pro tips. I'm pretty sure I dropped an F-bomb earlier, but it was definitely after 2 minutes, so. We had a whole bamboozlement with the intro and the blacking out and everything. It's fine. Everything's fine here.
Everything's okay.
If you want us to be able to say fuck as much as we like, though, be sure to support us on Patreon. I don't think you could leave me a note when you support me on Patreon, but if you could, make sure it's so that we can drop more F-bombs. Anyway. I don't need that anymore. I don't need my sound cues. It's time for pro tips. Wait the fuck, Senpai, wait for pro tips. First of all, double XP is a hell of a drug. Do use it. It's pretty cracked. Very based, if I may even say. So keep that in mind. But also, despite the fact that the banner started a week earlier and it was very confusing, the login event has actually started. Make sure to start logging in every day so you can get all that stuff because there's quite a lot of things going on. So start logging in. It's cool. Alrighty, with that out of the way, though, I didn't have much this week. Let's move on to Records from the Throne, our regular achievement topic. Hey, if you're wondering, we're going to talk to you about how we picked our tickets, even though I've literally been calling the shot for the past 6 months. Actually, no, fuck it. I've been calling this shot for 2 years since this ticket existed.
This is very true.
But, hi, hello, here we are. And so I would like to say that my temporary fox has been enrolled and is already max level. I am working on Bond now as we speak while farming. Well, not literally right now because my phone's charging, actually, but possibly during this, like when we do mailbag, I may start farming more. Because you may have noticed that some other servants that I also recently rolled are not on that list. I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. For me, I just, I got my temporary grandmother. Haven't put any embers into her. I'm still working on that.
That's okay. With double EXP, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's crazy good. But there you go. That's how tickets went. That's what we're working on. I would have loved to have taken some, screenshots or something, but, it's actually very, low-key. I mean, you still get all the temporary stuff, but they just show up in your gift box, and there's, no fanfare until you actually get the permanent summoning requirements, which I haven't done, so here we are.
I'm a little excited.
Yeah. Reminds me of, I don't know when the interview is from, but there was some conversation that talked about the free SSR, doing it, and apparently there was a little bit of pushback from the developers, because there is a decent amount of effort in that, summoning servants is supposed to be kind of special. They have all their dialogue and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so forth, which is not always true. I've we've experimented with a variety of gacha games. Sometimes stuff just kind of happens.
Yeah.
Or you get very, very brief quotes. FGO can get quite involved and even has story specific intros and stuff. So they talked about how the developers were concerned with artificially creating that bond. So they wanted to make sure you did have to put a little work into it and it wouldn't be free, that people would just take it for granted. I mean, it still seems a little bit I feel like they should also acknowledge, though, it's still a free SSR, which is, very valuable, that free waiver. The waiver ticket, as many people called it at the time and now. But it was interesting to hear that they were not at least explicitly talking about how, we think it would affect our monetary value if we gave you a free permanent. They're like, okay, but it can't be too easy because...
Well, honestly,
that's not how we do this servant summoning thing.
Well, honestly, I honestly do think that cost probably wasn't as big as a factor as some people would think, because these, like I said, the list is only permanents. These are something that can show up, at literally at any moment, no matter where you're rolling or how you're rolling.
Yeah.
So, big money makers for Lysingle right now is always going to be in limiteds and rate ups, because that's where the scarcity is, and scarcity always drives value.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I can definitely see themselves asking themselves for an SSR, because SSR is not, because that's the thing, the SSR is supposed to be the big thing, the big shiny thing, the big payoff when you see those gold sparks, just to be oh, and whatnot.
And usually you do, but sometimes it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, though, because servants can come without fanfare, they can just show up with no sparks. It's not quite the magical moment they want it to seem like all the time, but it is a little special sometimes, It
is a little special sometimes. Like I said, I'm not saying they money had no issue in it, but I definitely want to believe.
They didn't offer us limited servants, so
yeah,
that may not have even been in the discussion, but if it was, I'm sure it was blocked off because of that's a money source. Even if it's relatively small, lucky bags exist still, and those are almost exclusively limited servants now. So different systems for different things. But all right, no evil. Robyn will write something funny here, or Robyn will tell me to go fuck myself in the Timecodes, whatever.
Would you fuck him up in Yu-Gi-Oh or something?
No, but I feel like a coin flip. Either Robyn would write something funny if I didn't say anything about it, but now that I said something about it, he might just be like, meh, I didn't think of anything.
Ah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Perhaps he'll just, put random bird noises in there. I don't know. Let's move on to, did you finish your master missions? To complete your master missions, gonna need you to defeat 3 Knight class, Saber, Archer, Lancer. Servants, defeat 3 Cavalry class, the other 4 core classes. Servants, acquire 3 skill gems or statues of any type. Defeat 20 enemies, not servants or bosses. Defeat 40 enemies, not servants or bosses, and complete 10 quests. I'm not even gonna look up the AP guide. You know how we've got all the dailies open all the time? Just do those until you get them. That's it. Just do dailies. We're in a downloads campaign. Do dailies. You'll get the enemies and the quests fine. The servants fine in some of them. If you're working on free quests, which are discounted right now, or story progression, 0 AP story, you'll clear all this shit. So, yeah, you're fine.
Have at it.
Go nuts. that takes us to the news, the Skelegrams. Much leaner this week than last week. Though I don't think there was anything in particular news-wise. I tried to get Lucky's additional comments on anything, I think, on What's Up, so I think we're good.
Yeah, sorry. I had a very busy week. I had a somewhat busy week this week, too, but I managed.
Mm-hmm. So, news. First of all, Sea Monster Crisis still unfolding. Yes, there is a second banner, in fact. It is yet another Morgan raid up. This banner will go from the 13th until the 20th. Morgan is back on raid up, which is, this is what, like, number 4, number 5?
Morgan's very popular.
Let's go get as many raid ups as Gilgamesh. I don't think people will say no to that, but it is kind of crazy. There's also a Woo raid up and event CEs. And also, finally, enough of the time seals passed. We have left the hyperbolic time chamber. We can access the new welfare. They're an alter ego named Taisui Shinjun, I assume? There's an X in this. I don't know why my X is. Where's Dallas? Dallas, tell me in the comments how wrong I am. Anyway, we'll give you new servant deets later after the mailbag break. But yeah, so the welfare is accessible. They are a new 4-star alter ego, which is pretty interesting. So got that going on. Got lots of other stuff. This event's still going on for a while. I don't think the event technically ends until the 27th or something. So I do not know how upticky the news will be lately, but we'll probably get some hints and some things. Also, moving over to NA. We have some more, NA-only special campaigns. We've got Easter Campaign 2022, going from the 14th to the 17th, because the 17th is Easter Sunday. Log in for 3 days to get a total of 10 Saint Quartz. It's like 2, 3, 5, so keep logging in, keep getting more Saint Quartz.
This reminds me, Monday I need to go raid stores so I can get as many Starburst jelly beans as I can. This is very important to me.
Yeah. But, yeah, so just making sure to distributify us more extra special quartz. We also, just now today, got an announcement, or maybe like late yesterday, FGO is going to be at Sakura-con.
Yay! That's this weekend, by the way.
Yeah, this weekend. And on 4/16, we got a panel with Albert. I don't think there's any other special guests there. Let me check. I don't know, like, how hypified this will be, because, like I said, the news was like, it's literally, technically, I think it starts today. But their panel is on the 16th, and it was like, today or yesterday, they, like, put out the news, and I'm just like, okay.
Please support us on Patreon so I can go live stream from Sakura-con.
Well, no, it says it was posted on the news on the 12th, but still, very close together. Yeah, catch up with localization user Albert Cow. It's very short. I assume we'll probably get some celebratory Saint Quartz again, 5 or 10. We'll probably get a formal announcement on the Gouda Gouda date, because that is supposed to come out before Requiem. We may or may not get Requiem, announced then, when it will come. After all, we've talked about how at conventions and stuff, JP usually likes to preview the collab well in advance, such as when they announced it would be,
Albert, I'm gonna need you to announce the release of the fucking Requiem fucking light novel.
Yeah, I expect Albert may or may not be fielding some questions about that one. Obviously, I don't know how much, pull he has as localization producer, but
nah.
Definitely, much like the CCC question, I'm sure he has had to deal with that one.
Again, now that everything's under Sony, I'm pretty sure Sony has some fingers in some fucking publishing companies. It's fucking Sony.
I hope they gotta have a publisher.
Like fucking Square Enix has a fucking publisher.
I didn't see that Aniplex of America tweet. Yeah, okay, that's just straight up. That's actually coming out over here. Aniplex of America announced that Holy Night will be available in English. Please stay tuned for more information. Well, that's our next news item, so we can jump there. But yeah, okay, if Aniplex's USA branch is explicitly tweeting it out, that probably means that we will get an official in Western stores release of it. Possibly limited physical run. I don't actually know what they're going to do over there in Japan's. But that is our next bit of news. This was clarified at in Type Moon Ace. Yeah, if they've just announced it, Albert might bring it up. But yeah, not directly to coincide with, but definitely I feel like possibly because they're going to do the that's Ufotable's next Type Moon animation project. We got an announcement this week that Mahosuke no Yoru, Witch of the Holy Night, will be getting a re-release, a remastering, I believe, with updated soundtrack and dialogue, etc. Which is supposed to be coming out, I believe, in December sometime, but coming out later this year. They clarified immediately when it was announced in Japan it would include a English subtitle option.
Mhm.
I talked about this off camera, but I'm just like, there must be a specific word we're translating here because subtitle, when you reference a VN, is weird to me. But presumably, Aniplex says available in English. I'm assuming that means full-blown translation package. Possibly, probably actually wider release in English to English-speaking countries. Maybe a dub? I don't know. It's not the, it's a VN, and a lot of places just do the English package. I expect, because of profit, Aniplex will not be eager to pour more money into this than they need.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that's very exciting. I know that Mahoyo is, another one of those mysterious items. It didn't have an anime adaptation yet, and we didn't know a lot about it because it was mostly in, a VN, a big blocky VN. So this is good. You're getting the adaptation, and we're gonna get it over here. That's cool. Also, I'm fairly certain, since this comes out in December, that is probably going to strongly lock in next year's collab as Mahoyo.
Yeah,
because,
I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, this year we thought so because of the announcement of the anime, but now that they've announced the fact that they're, unless it's somehow the April Fools is, not April Fools, they'll be starting to associate that with learning with manga, yeah. Unless the manga collab is a double blind somehow, definitely gives me next year feels. Well, I'm not surprised because I still believe that even though it's partial, the Tsukihime remake is still fucking huge. And they did not necessarily make it with the intent that they would be translating it, which would be whole new bits. For Mahoyoru, that game is already out. This is just a remaster. We're giving it new graphics and voiceover. So the script is already written. They just need to translate that into different languages. And it's not just English. They're also talking about, I believe, also Chinese language options will be available, both traditional and simplified. So this is less of an exercise in terms of speed, especially if they don't wait for a English language voice package, which at the very least, like I said, the Japanese release of this remaster did not sound like they were doing. They just called it subtitle, right?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, still, this is good news. This is, another strike on our localization quest. Another enemy defeated. Now, if you guys could just start translating light novels, it can't be that hard. They're not that wordy. Well, I don't know if wordy's the right word, but the size of a light novel volume is not the same as the size of a fucking visual novel. At least not visual novels that Mr. Nasu writes. But yeah, digital release. Just give me the juice, guys. Come on.
Give it.
But yeah, please make sure to consider supporting this release because that's how money works. You give them money, they make money, they think they can make more money. So if you actually want localizing to keep happening, consider to support this thing. Because this isn't even just anime adaptations, this is just straight up, they're bringing it over, they're translating. We're ready to rock. Lucky, any further thoughts about Mahoyo?
No, not particularly. I am curious about maybe getting a timeline on the Mahoyo movie, though. We've only had an announcement. I don't think we've really had any other news on that.
Yeah. Chat, do you know, patrons, chat, of course, how long ago the announcement, do you remember how long it was that it was announced from Ufotable? Because if the re-release is in December, depending on when they announced it, I could see that being around the same time. Be a great, marketing strategy, right? Hey, we're adapting to movie, and if you want the full experience, buy this. Put the kiosk in the movie theater. Also, complete tangent, but has that ever happened? Has anybody ever done, at the movie theater, they've done, an adaptation of something, and they've just had kiosks to sell, the fucking book right there in the theater? Because that sounds like that would be a kick-ass plan.
I don't think, maybe not outside theaters, but I do think there has been things where you've gone for, one thing, and they sell a related product right outside it. I can't think off the top of my head, though. I'm a little bamboozled right now. Right now I'm in the high stress zone of trying to buy a house in Final Fantasy, and someone has just reduced my chances from 100% to 66%, and I hate it.
Ooh.
Because they're animals!
Yeah, I know Lucky has been yelling about the housing. I know you've been very stressed about that. It's funny. It's much like real life stress. But, okay. The other big news thing, well, people be checking, is Type Moon Ace came out for April. There was not any extra remake news. Okay, so it was announced late December they were doing the Mahoyo Oh, that'll be about a year if it came out in December. That definitely sounds like a decent timeline. We'll see how that shakes out, but that's going to be my guess for now. But yeah, so Type Moon Ace came out. As usual, it is full of like announcements and publications and stuff. I think there was a new chapter of Redline in it. We did not get news about the extra remake, like I said. That's still kind of up in the air. I suspect that one has slowed down because of The Thing, the Backstreet Boys' darned reunion tour.
So darned.
But there was the announcement, I believe that was the source of the Mahoyo remake announcement or remaster. We also got an announcement of some DLC characters for Melty Blood.
Yep.
Which have come out. There was a new light novel announced. I don't think it was released yet, right?
Not entirely sure.
It's like Fate Ragnarok or something. Anyway, it's very Nordic. It's coming out. Oh, they released a chapter of it. Okay. Yeah, light novel, illustrated by Mirashiro and Sakurai. Fate Lost Einherjar. So they just had a preview chapter. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to look
over. I mean, it's by Sakurai. I wonder if it's meant to be a direct sequel to Apocrypha, because it name checks Apocrypha.
I don't know if it's a direct sequel. You know, this is like, you know, Nasuverse is all about that, you know, mini stories, one world kind of thing.
It does say it's set 10 years after the Apocrypha event, so I don't know if that's supposed to be the same. It mentions Kalas as a brother and mentions Gordolf is our man. Is he going to show up? Cameo. But yeah, so that's coming out. Once again, I'm not going to get super excited about that unless they start announcing they're going to publish this over here. Guys, do you not know how big the light novel market is? It's big over here.
Getting bigger, definitely.
Yeah. There also were some of the usual interviews about just general like Fate and FGO development stuff. We did get a couple of little newsy bits in there. We also answered some interview questions about Lost Belt 7. We have a confirmed title. It's supposed to be the Golden Sea of Trees. I've also seen stuff like Golden Sea of Trees Travel Diary, whatever. So there's a little bit of wiggly in the translation. We'll have to see how that one shakes out, especially once they give us some actual, you know, text blocks. Yeah, the Ellen market is... Damn! Sorry, somebody just posted a tweet, which isn't sourced, but I believe that apparently Isekai smartphones sold better in English than it does in Japanese. Damn, dude. Seriously, Type Moon, Aniplex, Sony, whoever is in charge of that discussion, start having that discussion, because damn, dude, you got a business opportunity here.
This literally might be the reason why I got a second season in anime.
Hey, you know, stuff sells, and sometimes the West works. I mean, that's like Adult Swim is deeply tied in the like funding and localization process of Ghost in the Shell, like standalone complex.
Mm-hmm.
Like they own all the original rights to standalone complex. That has actually happened a couple of times. Black Lagoon seems like it would have more of an appeal over here. But anyway, Lost Belt 7, we've got some teasers. Nasu said that it will quote unquote be a simple story compared to Lost Belt 6 and be more straightforward. A humble fantasy journey of exploration. Doubt. Yep.
Oh no, it's definitely Oh no, it's definitely gonna be that. It's just a sense of scale, I feel.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Nasu means by that, but you know, most people I know who read that quote are hammering doubt. Now, there are some rumorification and speculation because Narita, the writer of Strange Fake, was recently brought on to... Well, they did deliberately drop the Jubalba, which is not... Is that the Mayan Underworld, or is that a different one? It might be Maya Tech. It's hard to remember exactly where, because there's a lot of areas of cultures that are being name-dropped which are not necessarily directly related. I hope we don't necessarily pull a America Singularity here and clutch too much stuff together. But anyway, there have been some like rumors and speculation because Narita, the writer of Strange Fake, was recently added to Type Moon's like staff.
Yes.
And that there is a quote I have not seen like put in context, but there was apparently a quote from Nasu in the book about how Mr. Narita wrote them an excellent story. That quote has not been directly attached to comments about Lost Belt 7. I know a lot of people have been saying that Narita wrote Lost Belt 7. That is not confirmed. I think the only thing we know is that Narita is working for Type Moon now and has written them something, but I don't think we've actually, like, locked in what that is. Okay, everybody? So, no hard confirmation on that. Given, I believe, Strange Fake was the last time we checked in on Type Ort, who is the ultimate one of something. Somebody even in the comments even said that might, the Mercury thing might even be like a double fake out. Anyway, I believe that was strange fake. I wouldn't be surprised, but again, a lot of people have been saying it's locked in, and I do not know it is. There's no like confirmation I've seen from the translation quotes, but yeah, Lost Belt 7 stuff, just chipping away. From what I understand, Lost Belt 6 is definitely like a very complex story.
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of twists and turns, probably why it has to be broken up into so many parts, because there's a lot of stuff going on. This is definitely supposed to be more straightforward and adventure-y. Again, what the fuck that means in this context, I don't know. Because, Lost Belt 5 and Lost Belt 6 were very complex, like, different story areas. 6 doesn't actually have, like, separate maps or releases. It's just, its one story was so fucking chunky. But, 5 has the 2 maps and the split parts, different theming. So, I don't know. We'll have to see how this all shakes out.
Ooh,
it is definitely meant to be a confrontation of sorts with our ultimate enemy. Once again, do not know for sure if we will punch out Foreign God in 7 or if we will have a Time Temple type.
I'm totally banking on a Time Temple kind of thing.
Yeah, I assume there would have to be a grand finale, but we don't know for sure. We don't know how they're going to take it. Also, doing a lot of assumptions about David, the man who cannot be assumed about. He is opaque. He is a mystery wrapped in an enigma, wrapped in a crappy holiday sweater. Nice boots, though. I mean, I'm sure we'll actually get to understand what the fuck David's deal is, because that's how Lost Belts work, but I assume nothing about nobody. Though, if he's got a grand servant that's his servant, we're definitely going to summon that motherfucker, right?
Right.
Yes, David is supposed to be American. I think he's specifically supposed to be from Nevada as well, so you can, bum rush Area 51. Oh, he's just from the Southwest. I mean, he's not from Area 51, Axe. Babies are not born on the property of Area 51. That's not how Groom Lake works.
No, clearly we're going to have to go to Area 51 for the final confrontation, and we're going to get a super buff from fucking Blue Book.
We're going to go back in time and save that alien so we can punch it back into space. Listen, I'm very interested to see what they go for with 6, actually, like in the full body text. But I do know that 6 also feels and seems kind of like a detour, right? Like it's very much a completely different crisis that pops up we have to solve, because Beryl is a dirty traitor, and I'm going to murder him in the ground.
Murder.
I'm going to throw him in the murder hole, and he's never going to come out. But, there are definitely, I believe, some interesting thematic stuff I've read about, like, how the Lost Belt divergence is supposed to happen. So we're going to, like, shaky breaky out, like, how those things come to be, and I'm very interested to see, like, if any of that thematic stuff has direct impact either in 7 or in future follow-up things. Like, White Titan got a lot of action in 5, That's a space thing, but I'm pretty sure it's not the same space thing, or is it? I don't know. Because remember, at least in the Extella universe, the White Titan, Velbro 2 had to fax herself from the moon cell to get to Earth, so, it's almost like Safar was without physical form. FGO is just actually the Extella sequel prequel we've all been waiting for.
Everything's connected.
Hey, you never know. We talked a lot throughout our Lost Belt 5 discussion that it's easy to forget sometimes, but Nasu has a big boner for sci-fi. Like, I know he writes a lot of urban fantasy, but I'm not, because that's just basic space stuff. Space is big. I'm not going to do the whole Hitchhiker's quote, but you know the line. Space is big.
So big.
Space is big, and I feel like Nasu is a sci-fi writer who actually likes to conceptualize how fucking immense space is. It's terrifying. Like, you don't realize because it's up in the sky and you can't look at it, but do you know how fucking big the sun is? Do you know how huge Jupiter is? Hold on, let me...
Oh, we're going to break out some Omega facts here.
How many Earths can fit in Jupiter? 1,300 Earths. That's how big Jupiter is, guys. Jupiter could fit over 1,000 Earths in it by volume. And just think about how big Earth is. Like, you probably don't even have a good grasp of that. Yeah, I do believe the red spot is the bigger than Earth. Is the red spot bigger than Earth? Thank you, Google Autocomplete. Yes, it is 1.3 times the diameter of Earth.
Diameter, by the way.
Yes. measuring 10,000 miles approximately in width. It rotates counterclockwise with a period of about 6 Earth days. That's right, this storm is so big it takes 6 days. Space is big, and sci-fi writers usually don't actually think about how fucking ginormous space is, but I feel like Nasu has done that a couple of times. Mostly because I feel like sometimes he has some cosmic horror influences. We've definitely seen that with the way Foreigners have been handled, and the way some of the other contributing writers have been. But yeah, we've got unanswered questions, but answered questions about Lost Belt 7. We're fixing to narrow it up. I believe we have said that 7 is supposed to occur this year, so maybe when we run out of Road to 7s. That would be like, what, fall I think we did the math on?
I believe so.
So we'll keep an eye and ear out for that. But we obviously still have plenty of current news to catch up with. Some things will probably be, announced at the Sakura-con panel, of course, like we talked about. And, eventually Sea Monster Crisis will wrap up. Yeah, I don't think they'll split... Well, they may have to split 6 because they've got so many... No, actually, they've done all the servants on a banner. You can cram 6 into all one banner. 5 may actually be split because it's... They're 2 separate maps and chapters you go to.
Yeah.
We should probably account whether or not they will put Heian-kyo in it, because that is a Lost Belt, but is also a main interlude, so I don't know. Well, the reason we Raptor about Star Wars is that's called practicality. The reason why it only takes place on, 2 planets is because we have to film on location. There's a reason why George Lucas threw himself so hardcore into CG technology. And even then, I believe modern Lucasfilm, they're, huge groundbreakers in, what do they call it? Live set technology. The Mandalorian is all shot on, LCD screens displaying environments in real time behind the actors. So you can basically be on a soundstage, but also everybody can see the environment they're in. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, no. Why did we keep going back to Tatooine? Probably because everybody and their mother knows what that stretch of Tunisia looks like. And if you didn't know, yes, Tatooine scenes were shot in Tunisia, in North Africa. I'm trying to remember where they shot Hoth. I think it was in, Iceland. I know some of those North of the Wall scenes in Game of Thrones were shot on location in Iceland. Endor is, just George's backyard in California. It was Norway for Hoth. So Norway is canonically Hoth. Got that, everybody? And did we actually... I don't think we shot any outdoor scenes on Yavin. Yeah, it's literally just Tunisian sound stages. Budget, everybody. It's also why all the extras in the Empire and stuff are vaguely British. It's because they shot those sound stages in an English studio. So that's where the randos came from. Anyway, enough about the Star Wars divergence. I believe that's all of the news, so it's time for the ultimate divergence. We're going to enter the mail zone.
The mail zone. So everyone, sit down, buckle up, and hold on. It is time for this week's Let's Talk FGO mailbag segment where we read what you have to say and comment accordingly. This week we have a lovely 21 submissions. Thank you very much for that. I know it was very last. It wasn't the lastest of moments, but it was fairly last in the moment. But since we do not necessarily have a huge back half, we'll make sure to get to them all, and I hope you all will be satisfied with that. So without further ado, let us dig right into it. This first one comes from another maid added to the maid chip collection. Heh. They say, hey guys, happy early Easter to you too. So I must ask one question for this mailbag. Art-wise, what is your favorite 5-star craft essence in the game? This is a solid question. But there's a lot.
Yeah, I was just thinking, there's even more craft essences than servants, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm like, gosh, I don't even know.
If we're talking 5 stars, redrops is very high tier to me. Every time I see something redrop, I'm like, yes, this is good. But the 2 that stick out the most to me right now is Osakabe Hime's summer one, where she's in her fox form, and she's just thick. I'm like, yes, this gives me life.
That's a very strong one, yes.
Also, Summer Suzuka's one.
Yeah.
Where it's just thigh. He has a preference if you can't tell.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong arts. Redrop, obviously, very important. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up, can I get a full craft essence list? No, I can only get it by ID. I don't know if can I sort by rarity? I don't think so. In JP, there's over 1,500 CEs, so it's kind of rough to pick a favorite. Redrop always has some really great ones, and the way we've done, while I am deeply agita about how they release them one at a time, the anniversary celebrations ZEs are always a trip as well.
Mhm.
You know, getting specific artists to do these different renderations of the characters in the different costumes and things.
So that is that. And we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from Is, the one who advanced so much in the Church of Dogmatica. He now serves as right-hand man to Oliver. Question, how do you guys think that the Holy Church would react to the FGOMC if they became aware of their high number of karmic bonds with servants and how those bonds have been used to summon heroic moments at times without even a name of summoning rituals? How would those from particular subdivisions like the executioners or exorcists react if they became aware of this? Sincerely, Is, a thespian who laughs with his brand. Well, first they have to get through the Mages Association, which I think is the bigger point.
Yeah, those two don't really get along well. Like, the Mages Association may not like us, but they're not going to sell us out to the Holy Church. We are a cause, after all. We're fucking ranked, man.
We're fucking ranked, and if anything, the Mages Association will want to, slap their own restrictions on us, or study us, or whatnot. But that is not to say that the Church will not try to maybe take some measures against us. But what those are, I'm not entirely sure. The Church...
Yeah, I know that the Holy Church may be... Obviously, they allegedly moderate the Holy Grail War poorly, but they may have some interest in ghost liners, the concept of summoning heroic spirits, but I don't actually know if they really give a shit about us or what we do, especially because we're time cops.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're a little outside the jurisdiction.
So with that, though, we shall move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from... Master already dreading the super recollection versions of these Olympus boss fights. I heard those are bitches, yes. Hello, Lucky and Omega, not counting the third since Caldea already has sort of a bootleg version. Wait. Do you think we'll get to see True Magic play into the main story, either one of the numbered or a new one? Presuming Pizarro Rich won't get involved directly as long as the Earth is bleached. Since, if I'm understanding correctly, it is his nature of a walking fixed point in the timeline that will log the bleached Earth as the true timeline if he observes it. And given the upcoming movie, they'll probably save the fifth for a collab event, but that still leaves the first and fourth as big question marks. And those in the universe stated that discovering new magic would be a near impossibility, I can see both Caldea and Deba managing to get David because the impossible is explicitly his specialty, and I'm wary of anyone in this franchise would void enter name. And Caldea, because if anyone's going to stumble upon a path to the root by accident, it would be them, given all the dimensional timeline hopping they do, and raises an interesting question of how magic would function if it's spread across multiple people who all observe the root at the same time using the same path, and also seems to have a thing for the number 7. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, it's very wordy. I have no idea. Like, obviously, like you said, if we were to get a Mahoyo collab context, which seems very likely at some point, given that, it seems like Mahoyo are coming back. And obviously, Aoko would be a major character there, and that is explicitly her thing, being the magician of the fifth magic. Yeah, I don't know. We have strong references to Zelrich, obviously, with the kaleidoscope and stuff, but he has his own kind of restrictions for how he does things and how he gets places. So I don't necessarily know if there's anything there further. And most of the other magics are question marks. So I feel like probably not, because I do not think this is as you may have noticed, we don't really concern ourselves with the root or with true magic in this. Like, that's not really what we're about. We've got our own specific MacGuffins. So I don't actually know if they're likely to come up directly, because this one is kind of dealing with its own thing. This kind of with the way our dodging the actual Holy Grail War part of the heroic spirit summoning, we're not necessarily tied to everybody being concerned about the third magic and all that stuff. So I feel like generally FGO deals with its own plot hooks. So I'm not going to say it's out of the question, but I feel like it's not as likely.
Nah. We got other works for that.
Yeah.
So with that, though, we are going to move on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from a masked man moping morosely and mourning missing data. Question. Dear Lucky Omega, I know many of us are looking forward to Castoria, Fairy Knights, the Witches, and other upcoming servants, but I was wondering what servants currently in the NA game would you like to see get a surprise rate up in the future? Anyways, I hope things are going well for the both of you and sending you good vibes this Easter weekend.
Gonna be honest, I don't like any surprise rate ups. Yeah, somebody in chat just said none at all caps. Because, those are... those are surprises, but those are monetary surprises, which are not the good kind. Like, surprise rate-ups are definitely incentive for people to spend in a perhaps panicked manner. And it, makes it harder to figure out what you're doing. So, like, if there was an opportunity for servants who are rare to get extra rate-ups, which we always do talk about, right? There's plenty of opportunity, but also it's like, I don't think anybody really, I don't think I've seen anybody in our NA server be like, whatchamacallit, like, oh, hey, a surprise rate-up, cool, I can roll for that. It's always like, oh, hey, it's another rate-up for this servant I want, and there goes my fucking money, right?
Whoop, whoop.
It's like, what's this? Hawk gets a rate-up? Well, shit,
I know people are saying none, but I'm definitely about Tama Lancer, because I still only have red MP1.
Yeah, I think she does have a couple, maybe not a couple, but there's not these... Actually, is it just AoE swimsuits on the swimsuit banner, or is it all swimsuits?
I don't remember.
It's named very weird. Remind me, chat. I think she's got some in there. I don't really know if some of these like ideas work out for like NA special banners. It is just AoE, okay. But there is definitely, I think, wiggle room for like I said, like, hey, if an Arjuna Alter rate up appears somewhere, but in the 2-year gap it took JP to do that, like if we get an Arjuna Alter on a Thanksgiving or something, that would not be, end of the world, but I definitely would prefer if such rate ups happened at regular times we could predict, right? Like if it's just, if we just have to worry about, okay, Thanksgiving is just, nobody fucking knows, they do something, it does not necessarily correlate with the New Year's rotation, and you know that could be a time where you may have to roll a rate up, yeah, that's all right. There's probably some servants in there, like you said, Tama Lancer doesn't get a lot of rate ups, or Juno Alter doesn't get a lot of rate ups. Musashi hasn't had a rate up in a couple of years, so I'm trying to think. Are there any other? Somebody posted a list recently of like rarest servants by rate ups. I think Summer Artoria is actually on that. It's been a long time since she's had a rate up.
So we don't get our summer ones a lot. I just looked at it. Last time we got a Tamamo rate up, a summer Tamamo rate up was 13 million downloads in JP.
Yeah, and that was that. Then it had been like I believe a couple of years, and they hadn't brought it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually mostly summer ones. Not entirely. I mean, it's a lot of summers. It's been, let's see, if I'm reading this right, it has been 4,014 days since Summer Kyo got a rate up. 1,323 since Summer Artoria got a rate up. 994 since Summer Maeve, 915 since Summer Ibaraki, and 832 since Void Shiki. I'm very glad I've got one of those. Okay, so Tama Lancer will get one on the Muramasa New Year's rotation. Interesting. But yeah, so like there are definitely, I would not mind if they, even though I know it's, Thanksgiving, but like maybe back to school, some kind of like regular calendar event they can do to keep it reasonable, because like the the Lost Belt 5 conclusion banner, right, where they're like, hey, here's these limited story lock units, and you're just like, what? Like that coming out of nowhere with no preamble. Obviously that may or may not work for them as a business. As a consumer, not a huge fan of those, because it's just like, well, shit, do I roll now or do I roll on shit I know I want to roll later? But seasonal stuff that's a little more structured is okay, and there are definitely opportunities for many servants to get rate ups who could use them, which I do occasionally feel like NA does, Like, when was the last fucking Medea Lily rate up?
Ooh.
Chat is typing, they're going to tell me. All right, one of them's going to be sassy. Okay, I'm done talking to you, chat. Lucky, please move on to the next question.
I will move on to the next question.
I shall turn my nose up at these people.
So, with that, we move on. This next one comes from the Eternal Storm, who says, hey guys, hope you are both well and staying cool. Questions, who are your MVP for Olympus? For me, I wouldn't have made it if not for Merlin, Orion, or Juno Alter. Thank you again for your time. No, thank you.
Thank you for taking the time. And I appreciate your concern about me staying cool. I am not. It is 9:30 at night, and it is 76 degrees still. Sucks to suck. But yes, Lucky, I believe you were about to speak about your MVPs.
I mean, my MVPs were just all the support casters I have.
That's probably a pretty fair one, yeah. I leaned pretty heavily on Waver and or Merlin, and Asclepius, technically a support caster. The Good Doctor was very good for certain fights. And yeah, Super Orion showed up a lot. Being focused on doing weird solo comps makes him surprisingly resilient when the game does weird things and often bullies your servants.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's enough about that. So, let's keep moving. This next one comes from Lost in Mooncell Hell, who says, "Hello, Lucky and Mega. This is a bit of a tangent, but hear me out.
No,
I recently
refuse.
Okay, well, I'll hear you out, because I have to say this. I recently replayed the original Fate Extra, mostly in preparation for the more remake news, but sadly seems that the game is delayed for now. Nevertheless, I decided to rewatch Last Encore in the meantime, just to see how the show held up since I basically forgotten everything about it, bearing a few of the more broad details. This is just when Lucky flashbacks to just Nero strutting down the street, just
Yes,
playing
broad
music.
details. Rounded details.
Yeah. Entirety. I don't know why you have a line break, then the word entirety, and then another line break.
Yeah, that's a little weird structurally.
Yes, thank you for posting the Nero strut. That gives me life.
Ballin', but at what cost?
Of
Definitely
course,
something you
that's
could say about last Encore.
Of course, that's not to say that the show didn't get the reputation it has for good reason. Also, should have seen more up front when it came to the fact you need more intimate knowledge from Extra to appreciate the show. Without it, I imagine the show was already complicated, would be nearly incomprehensible. Put a pin in that. More episodes to flesh out the players' force would have also been appreciated, but in all honesty, what the show really needed for was not to be a show at all. It's very clear that wrote a lot more about what it wrote a lot more than what it made it to the show, and I feel that the whole thing would work better as in a visual novel format. Despite
not visual novel, but probably light novel, because that's how Nasu wrote that, by the way. It's funny this person brought that up, but he said in the interviews at the time, the way he approached adapting was he did not work from the game script. He turned it into a novelization, basically, and then the anime script adapted that.
Yeah. Even despite its innumerable flaws, I quite enjoyed the themes it was exploring, especially considering how they contrasted with the themes of the original Extra game. What do you think of my assessment? And do you think there's any hope we'll see more of all the notes that Nasu wrote for the show and never ended up appearing? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for your work. So, first off, you're wrong. You're just wrong. Because the glory about Last Encore is so you think it's one thing, and then it literally does a twist into another. That's literally the entire gist of it. You think it's one thing, and then it's not, and then you discover there's this whole thing that else that happened. Because Last Encore is literally, after the failure state of Extra. So what actually happens in Extra is not entirely important to what happens here. You do get some extra information and some extra understanding about it, but Extra's core focus is about the journey of, this evil specter trying to who am I? What am I? Blah, existentialness. Rather than whatever story that Extra has going on. Actually, that reminds me, apparently, Beast Hero, I can't remember, Nier's, MP is actually named after the incinerator room from Last Encore. I can't remember what it was called, though.
Yes, I don't remember the name, but yeah, people brought that up. It's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
I mean, I do believe that I agree with you, Lucky. This person is making an incorrect comparison. I'm not going to say that the show isn't, Last Encore wasn't really opaque and kind of weird. Possibly by design, but also hard to tell because, again, they straight up skip floors that I'm fairly certain Nasu at least had ideas for because they were in, drama CDs and other additional material.
Well, that's animation. That's the animation budgeting.
Yeah, so I do think that it was... I think that possibly the way Nasu and possibly even the way Studio Shaft approached this adaptation was kind of weird, right? We start with okay, let's adapt Extra, and then Nasu, I actually don't know. I don't know if Nasu's process was that's goofy, I'm gonna write something new, or whether it was just okay, we're gonna adapt Extra, but it's a video game that doesn't one-to-one translate to animation. I'm going to rewrite the plot in a different prose format, and then it just turned into Last Encore, and then they adapted that. But there's definitely some extra adaptation steps that the audience doesn't see. I do not necessarily think knowing shit about Extra makes it more comprehensible. In fact, I think for some points, as Lucky brought up, the fact that parts of it are subversive, knowing more about Extra just means that you have expectations that are then grossly wrong. But it's still... I still think there's some weirdness to it, and I know a lot of people are not they not necessarily enjoy the production, especially because didn't they not complete the story right away. There was like a couple of months before they released like the final episodes or something. There was some production weirdness. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I can't remember.
Chat will fact check me. It was a little bit of a weird approach. So yeah. Was there a gap? There might have been just a gap between the two cores. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It was so long ago. The second point, though, talking about is there hope we'll see more of the notes? I don't know, because like I said, if Natsu actually like wrote it like it was a novelization, right? Presumably that original script that Shaft worked from to do the adaptation and write the anime episode scripts, like you have this big blob of text and then they break it up into the episode format, which is different. That presumably means there is a master copy of this story out there somewhere, which at any given time Natsu could probably get edited for publication and dump on the market. Will he do that? I don't fucking know. That's all I mean. I don't have any further to go with that particular point. I don't fucking know. Yeah, it exists. Will it be published? How does anything work with Fate these days?
I don't know.
I don't even know what Natsu's doing right now. Hopefully sitting on a beach sipping mimosas or something, because Jesus. But
isn't it Golden Week soon? Like actual Golden Week? Maybe he's making plans.
It should actually be Golden Week. Hopefully he takes a week off. He can play more Elden Ring. That's what he's actually doing. He's not actually sitting at a beach. Natsu's vacation is just he's playing Elden Ring. Though I do believe in, speaking of, unrelated to this question, but we're in the FAF zone, I do remember some snippets from some interviews where Natsu talked about video games he's playing, which included Western games. He did talk about Horizon. I think he was name-checking Zero Dawn, not Forbidden West, but I don't know if that was just a translation thing. But he did talk about like the complexity of the storytelling and stuff going on there, which is very funny given the commentary we've made about Olympus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Natsu may or may not be aware of all that. It's neat. And now the audience will forever wonder about what Natsu thinks of Forbidden West.
Probably.
But yeah, okay,
let us
sorry,
move
tangent
on.
Closed out. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, this next one comes from Moon is feeling weird since she just woke up at 3 p.m., thankfully on a weekend, and is dizzy. Question, hello there, Omega Unlucky. Hope you're doing well. What is the longest you guys have slept for? Ooh.
I know for sure I've clocked in like 10 hours. Like straight. I've been super tired at one point and just literally passed out and been like, holy shit, it's 10 hours later.
I think the longest I've done is 16. I can't remember why. And I'm not sure about that number, but I know I have slept for more than half a day. It might have been a combination of, exhaustion or sleep meds.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if there was. I don't think there was ever a point where I was like, I am certain I have spent more than 12 hours in bed. I don't actually think I've ever like straight up been unconscious for that long in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I think I'm kind of a light sleeper. I'll like turn over and be like, is it time to wake up yet? No. Sleep. Yeah, Cody will do that.
Yeah, I will. I got nothing more to say on that, so let us move on. This next one comes from Professional Insomniac, who says, Dear Pirate Princess Omega and Lucky of the Lewd Smile, no question this week, just wishing you well and sending you good vibes. Wah, 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 wah. Y'all are one of the highlights of my week. Thank you. P.S. Source of the nicknames is Omega from an older Let's Talk intro. God, fuck.
Shrug. I believe it. I told you guys earlier that unless I specifically think of a joke in the week ahead of time, how I make jokes is I just enter the nickname zone and it just happens, and then I snap back to reality as Lucky yells at me.
Thank you very much for that. We will move on. This next one comes from Completing Olympus makes me want to see more Saint Seiya transformation from Roman empires. Yo, where's my Saba Venus, y'all? Well, I guess that'd be more of a magical transformation, but
Is it really a magical girl transformation if Nero just stops at the step where all of her clothes explode, and we just never get new clothes?
That's a philosophical question, I suppose.
Let me know in the comments below.
Yes, it is indeed magical.
It's magic. I ain't got to explain shit.
I mean that does sound like Nero. I just need a smug Nero just saying I'm the emperor, and just underneath it, I don't gotta explain shit. That sounds like Nero. That sounds like Nero to a T. Anyway, this person says, Hello, Lucky and Mega. I hope that you two are doing well. If you were to hunt for anything other than chocolate for Easter, what would it be?
Non-chocolate confectionery.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I have a specific one. Starburst jelly beans. I love those things. I love those things to death. They're great. I love them. You can try and buy a bunch of them after Easter. Try. So, this next one comes from a master who used the Grail to make a portal to the Throne of Heroes, dived in and dragged a kicking and screaming Hime into my Chaldea. They say, "Hey, Loki Omega, happy download campaign, and I'm still reeling from the ending of Lost Bell 5, since I'm going to save my question about B7 for later, excuse me. This week, my question is, how do you think Chaos ranks among the cosmic entities we know about in Also Works? Given that the Atlantean gods only make up 7% of its power, how do you think it compares to Safar? Crazy to think about, and we really lucked out with Musashi to help, and you got all the good vibes, wah 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 wah, and have a great weekend."
I mean, probably pretty high, but probably not the highest.
I think it's the high. I think it's the highest.
Chaos is explicitly called, it's supposed to be a Dyson sphere, right? Like, it's harnessing the entire output of a star, which is why it used all of its energy to yeet the Olympians to a new reality. There are certainly entities we have encountered or know of who are cosmic in nature, who might be similar, but
I think Chaos is pretty up there, because I'm pretty sure Chaos is like something above, because Chaos is, very specifically primordial, which is, what you can basically consider like the most old and the most ancient without getting into, ancient old ones.
Yeah, no, like metaphysically, the primordial gods are like at the top of the list, and as you know, that means that Nasu is like they're the swollest. Never mind that you were.
The only thing that I think could probably surpass that is something outside human understanding, because that's the thing. Despite Chaos being all big and soul, he is still something that humans understand, which definitely puts him on a list. So it'd be like if Chaos was like rank A+++, then you can have some, outer god, and that'd be an EX.
Yeah, there are definitely existences outside the domain, which Chaos may resemble, but is not quite. As Lucky said, we were able to, Sherlock Holmes was able to define Chaos.
Yes.
He's still super big because he's a fucking Dyson sphere. He's using the entire output of a reasonably sized star and is, vast in the crack of space and all that shit. But he was conceptual. We knew his limits. There's some other shit out there that's probably weirder and wilder. What I really want to know is if we had been able to wait 5 minutes, and let do the whole thing with the tree, and then lucky number 7 showed up. You will go marry. Would the foreign god have been like, "Hey, what's this giant eye guy?" That is the contest I would like to have seen, but I don't actually know how that would compare. The energy output of stars, though, is big. Once again, space is big, y'all.
Huge! And it's hard to compare to Safar, because Safar is not well defined. It's just I think a comet that flies through space, eating up civilization, being all like,
that's the Velber as a race. Safar is specifically the White Titan, but that's a little bit easier, because we know that Safar is bigger than individually all of the Olympian gods. If they Voltron up, though, Safar loses, so
that means it's probably weaker than Chaos.
Yeah, because Chaos is the entirety sum of all the various Greek godships, and components.
But yeah, that's that. So thank you very much. We shall move on. This next one comes from Headed East to the Midwest. Happy Friday, guys. I finished relocating for work and pumped for the future. Lucky, as a fellow working man, how social are you with your coworkers? Good luck with future roles. I'm a little bit social. I don't necessarily go out of my way to talk to people, but, my closest coworker, I make sure to say hi to everyone, ask how everyone's doing. I check in at lunch, I check in to see if they usually need something or if something's bothering them. And usually I say my goodbyes. And people will occasionally come over to my section and want to chat with me, and sometimes I yell at them, because they keep trying to figure out what girl I have a crush on. I'm like, I'm not telling you. And they're like, why? Because if I tell you, you're going to go tell them. And that's going to be very embarrassing. And then they look away and be like, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like,
The only way 3 people can keep a secret is if 2 of them are dead.
So, like I said, I am, what's the word I want to use? A socially acceptable amount of sociable.
Yeah.
Like I said, I make sure to not get into anyone's business too much. I make sure to, speak nice with everybody. I have a really nice reputation at work. People like to talk to me, but, a lot of times I'm just in my corner listening to my audiobooks about, RPG teddy bears. God, I'm going to talk about that book tomorrow. I hope you guys are excited, because I'm excited to talk about it.
Look, he has many new things to yell about.
I yell about things. Oh, I'm going to be yelling about this house, though. Oh, God. It bugs me. It bugs me so much. I'm so stressed about this. Oh, I gotta log in now. I gotta look at it. Fuck.
Lucky's got to look at his house.
I gotta go look at my house.
By the way, update, over the course of however far in mailbag we are, Tamo has reached Bond 4 soon.
Soon, TM. Hang on 1 second. I'm logging into my Final Fantasy real quick. I have to put down Cyberpunk.
I'll vamp a little bit, but I've just realized I need to type some things out for my list of topics for tomorrow for What's Up.
Oh, I
It
should really do that.
Impressive.
I could probably do that in the morning, because I gotta be up early to go screaming onto the Final Fantasy server to check.
I mean, I already wrote housing in there because there are some subjects I know about Lucky that I know I will want to summon out of him, even if he doesn't think of it immediately.
Log in. All right. Oh, yeah, I gotta wait in queue, so I can probably move on to the next one. All right, so this next one comes from Provincial Governor Cilius Sodus, who says, Salve, Consuls Tyrannicus Lepus Felix and Alfarius Omega Maximus. Or what are we, Rowan? No. I hope you are both well. I imagine you've been asked this in the past, and it's not exactly a novel idea. Would you ever consider making a beginner's guide to FGO? I assume with the current downloads campaigns and SSR ticket, it might be an influx of new players to FGO. Long-term listeners of the show probably won't be the target audience, but I think it'd be interesting to see what tips. Yeah, it's still 3. I have a 66% chance. And that's horrible. God, that's so horrible. Your show probably wouldn't be the target audience, but I think it'd be interesting to see what tips you would give to someone starting and what points I wouldn't agree with. Cough, roll story, cough. I would never tell anyone to roll story. I think
they're telling people to roll story, which I would say, if you're new to FGO, I kind of disagree with. Well, actually, if you're new to FGO, you're gonna get a shitload of quartz. You might want to roll a few times on story just to round out your roster, but
I don't know. Like if you slow roll a couple days, get some friend points, you can probably get a fair amount of servants, because like I said, those early chapters are, small tier.
Baby.
Like honestly, I wouldn't even bother with well actually no, I would. Get the preview out, get some friends, start farming friend points, and then from there, friend summon. Get your silvers up and start leveling those. But as for the actual question, it's like we could do like a video, but here's the thing, like that will require actual probably, visuals and audios and stuff that, well, I would like to do such a thing. I do not have the time to do such a thing. Like there's so many videos that I want to do, but I'm just all like, I am too entirely swamped for all of this. I'm just like, I don't know if Omega would want to do like videos like that either.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I could see the idea, but it would require like research and scripting, right? Like we'd have to figure out like what the fuck the actual, like what would be the new tips, what matters, and I would mostly have to source my ass kind of thing, right? Like it would be very opinionated, and I don't know if. Like, we are an informative show, but usually the amount of research I like to pour into stuff is, the fun kind, like about, like, history and stuff, things people might not know. There's a wealth of other FGO YouTubers out there, if you're new to FGO and you happen to have tuned into our show, you obviously, if you want to follow our journey for us learning, we've got a huge backlog, literally since the game launched. I do not necessarily recommend going back, but you've got a very heavy backlog of experience you can go through for us there. And there are a lot of other FGO YouTubers who are really good at making concise, well-edited content. Mm-hmm. We are not good at being concise. I'm bad at that, actually.
We're really not.
And all of our analytics say that our audience and our growth is okay with that. Usually when we're longer-winded is when we get better episodes. Like obviously the yesterday special, last week's special, the live one did pretty decent, despite the fact that it was only 2 hours, because, well, it was kind of a special circumstance, and I did actually, like, sit down and jaw with chat for, like, an hour of that. If it was just the hour of me reading Extended News Desk, that video would probably not be doing very good. Which is why I didn't do it that way. I didn't just read the news. I was like, I'll do it live for more chat interaction. I have no idea, what kind of numbers this one's gonna do. Hopefully a few. We've got some things to talk about. People are excited about Fate right now, anyway. Oh, sorry, stretching my leg. But yeah, it's a project we could undertake, and there are some ideas I would go for it, but it's also, like, it's not a project that creatively appeals to me, right? Mm-hmm. And we're a little bit sellouty, but not, like, all the way sellouty. Trust me, you have not even... as much as I yell about supporting us on Patreon or YouTube memberships or whatever, we have not gone full sellout, right? And so if I'm not like artistically interested in a project or whatever, I'm not gonna do it. I don't got time for that. I got other shit I so much more care about. Like Lucky said. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that one as I stretch my legs.
So, with that, we're gonna move on. I swear to God, if I don't get this house, I just might die inside. I might have to just quit Final Fantasy for a while. I'd be so mad. So,
when are they going to update the expansion to let you, to turn housing zones into PvP areas so you can shiv people trying to get in on your real estate?
Oh God, I don't know.
Riots in the streets, y'all.
There would be.
Chaos.
Okay, here we go. Here's the next one. Alias, person who's not asking for your choice for the ticket, but will ask thoughts on related matter. Question, discuss pros and cons of choosing between Waiver and Talamo for one who has neither. Consider also worst case scenario of picking one of the ticket, getting spooked by that same in the future, and failing to summon Castoria. I can always wait another year to use the second ticket for the other two, so it's guaranteed anyway, but I'd like to have hear a legit discussion on this. Honestly, I don't think there's much of a discussion. Pick Waiver. Pick Waiver.
Yeah.
Waiver is just your generic good support that you can basically slot into any team and run with it. He has 3 skills that will give you up to a 50% battery, gives attack up, defense up, and critical up. So basically, everyone wants him around. And while people don't usually get him for his MP is good for maybe not for a little bit of stall tactic with,
it has charge down and stun chance, which can save your butt in an emergency.
Yeah. Tomo is great, but that's only if you're going specifically for arts teams. Like outside of arts teams, like Tomomo doesn't have like a lot of well, she does, but not as much as Waiver does.
Tomomo has unique value as she is a healer once you do her rank up, which you can't do while she's temporary.
Yeah.
Or shake fist. And she has the unique skill cooldown effect, but you will not get your full mileage out of Tomomo in a vacuum. Like, okay, if you've already got like a crazy good art setup and you don't have a Tomomo, I would consider it. But like you said, Waiver is the generic standard for support casters. He sets the bar. And speaking of, projects we do work on, every fucking wanted, I'm talking about like, remember, you can always use Waiver. Like, he is the generic support caster. He will go with anybody. As Lucky mentioned, he has, 50% battery and completely generic skills. Nobody doesn't want damage plus an attack up. You will never go wrong unless somehow they invent an enemy who like inverts your defense buffs or something ridiculous in the future, which they might. Don't say nothing. But until then, you'll never do wrong with a damage cut and defense up. It's always a positive. Whereas, as Lucky said, Tomomo's primary thing is, once she's fully buffed, which is another step, Waiver doesn't have any like rank ups or anything you have to do to make him pitch perfect. Tomomo does actually really kind of use her rank ups. The 50% battery also, there's no skill requirements in there. You don't have to spend the QP on that. But yes, Tomomo can heal. Yes, she can do NP up. And she has the arts up obviously on that heal, but that's still like focus that you're going to be using arts cards or even firing NP. That NP plus doesn't do anything to Super Orion, right?
Right.
Doesn't help MASH at all. Even though you would oftentimes use MASH in the same team as a Tomo if you're trying to go full big boy stall. So, yeah. It's there's a reason why in JP and even now they almost universally jokingly refer to this as the Waiver ticket.
Yeah.
Anyway, I should continue farming and leveling. And farming bond for Tomo. I'm just picturing now when there's a deep-seated silence, it's just Lucky existentially staring at the for sale sign in front of the house he wants. Oh, that's a nice meme.
That is a nice one. But yes, no, I am staring into the abyss thinking about my house.
Yeah? I'm just like, that's kind of an awkward silence. What's happening here? Lucky is just thinking about my house.
Listen, Final Fantasy 14 fucking housing has been bullshit. And like I said, I had to enter a lotto for this. And we only got 2 entries into a single house. The most expensive one, because I was hoping it would kind of scare off the younger ones. And And we did this like Tuesday when it first came out. So from Tuesday to now, Noah's house has bid. And here we are, 13 hours away from the deadline, and someone put in a bid, taking my 100% chance of getting the house to a fucking 66% chance of getting the house. And if you guys don't understand, that is a huge fucking statistical drop. It's huge.
Pretty bad.
It's fucking huge.
Can you egg the house if this guy gets it?
No.
Like, honestly, listen, I understand why they don't do it, but like, I feel like if you're getting fucking scooped, they should like allow you to engage in domestic terrorism as response.
And like, I had to like tell because originally our free company was gonna wait until the last moment to see if we can scoop somebody, but then I had the idea of no, if we bid early, we might scare people off, and it seemed to work for the most part. But now we're in the place where other people are doing what was my original idea of trying to find people. I'm just like, no. It's like, God, man, the free company, the Crows have literally been saving Gil for an entire fucking year for this moment. Like, we've been scrimping and saving where we could, except when Loth goes and buys stupid stuff and gives it to us, and we're like, why, Loth? Why'd you fucking do this? Why'd you spend 2 million Gil on us and not put it in the box for the house? And he's all like, I'm not a clever man. I'm like, fuck, no, you're not!
Yeah, that's a Loth.
Oh!
Loth, why aren't you running any torrential tribute? It's one of the best trap cards in the game. I'm dumb.
So,
I don't know.
Yes.
Ax, you're lucky Loth can't see patron chat. He would throw a drop bear at you for that one.
So, yes, I hate to say it, I am very distracted. That's why I was trying to play video games, but me reading...
The anxiety got you and you had to fucking check. I know. Listen, I was doing, in real life, I was doing tax stuff this week, paying Uncle Sam. Thankfully, our earnings are developed as royalties, so I ended up owing less than I thought I did, which is nice. But it's still like when you're thinking about, okay, we need to sit down. By the way, I needed 6 fucking pieces of paper. And it's not required, it's just good to keep up on your taxes so that Uncle Sam acknowledges you exist. But 6 pieces of paper to pay Uncle Sam $74. It's dumb. And it's very anxiety-inducing until you realize how dumb and simple it is, and you get it out of the way. But yeah, no, until then, you're like, I literally cannot stop obsessing about this. That's a crime. That's illegal. Hold on, where's my gift for that? There it is. Star that one for future. Well, I mean, I know Uncle Sam doesn't need my $74. That's not going to make a dent in the national debt or inflation or whatever, but, that's how they got Al Capone. Mm-hmm. Where the fuck were we? We're moving on to a new question, I think.
I was, but again, if you're hearing awkward sounds, as Lucky is just staring into the void, praying that this 66% chance of getting a house, pans out.
Listen,
God,
we all should understand how stats are fucked because we play FGO.
Yes.
1%, literally 1 in 100 times.
Honestly, it'd be better if someone another person bid, because it would only drop my chance to 50%, but those only other 2 people both have 25%. So I'm just I would still have half the pie.
Yeah, you would still win on the coin flip where the other guys would be 50, 50-50 of the 50.
Oh.
XCOM, 99% chance to hit. You don't say.
Because, that's just the thing. It's I just feel like, even though I have, the majority, that spinner's still going to come up on the 33%. I'm like, why? Ugh. Anyway, I don't like this next question because it has way too much text and it's a fucking list. So fuck this one. I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm way too stressed for this.
That is a very long question. What the fuck?
This next one comes from a Notorious Stan who says, "Greetings, Lucky and Omega. I hope you're both doing well. I am not. Sending you the good vibes. I'm not making the sound anymore. I have actually actively stressed myself out more talking about this. God fucking damn it. Have a great rest of your weekend. I was going to make a reference for the Legend of Legendary Heroes, but I will skip it. That's cool. Let's see here. This next one comes from Procrastinator, who forgot the 17 million downlink summoning campaign started on the 10th.
It did. A lot of people were confused by that one.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? Hey, do you guys remember the last time an event ran for 3 weeks? I was just wondering if the Sea Monster event JP was the first time this happened. If brain cells wasted, feel free to skate the question. Best of luck for whoever you guys are rolling for. We're not doing any rolling. No rolling today. And no, actually...
Don't summers usually run for 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my first
Summer's long wrong time. But sometimes summers are split up into multiple parts, but who fucking knows? It takes a while.
But no, this is not that uncommon. It does certainly feel like they're stalling. I suspect that might be, though, to make sure because they introduced the welfare so late to make sure you have enough time to get all the stuff.
All the stuff.
Because it's not like they gave you a temporary one on, day 1, and you can like go through all the steps, you know. All right, let's continue. I was about to say we're almost done, and then it hadn't loaded like the last 3 or 4 questions. Thank you.
Yeah. So this next one comes from the Tyrant King, speed reading to catch up to Trapped in a Dating Sim, now on Volume 3. Hey guys, since we now know we have now the new light novel, do you think, guys, we might get canonical, children showing up in the Rail War stories? Also, do we know if the Apocrypha style with 14, it'll be Apocrypha style with 14 servants / 7 masters, or no?
You
don't fucking know.
Here? I don't know. Somebody else post the fucking summary. The second question, I mean, that's not that weird, because, hey, who was in APOC? Starts with M, rhymes with... I don't have a good rhyme for Mordred. I'm sorry. I blanked. I thought it would be funny, but it was just, there was no. I antied my own joke. But no, not that weird. Fairly normal. Happened before. Moving on.
So, moving on. Thank you very much. This next one comes from King of Apples, who is rebuilding Rome, but ran out of eggs. She should go down to the market and get a dozen. Question. Okay, so now that we know for certain that Beryl is fucking a fae, right? Not really.
No, I don't think we know for sure. Like, some weird's going on with him, but there's a wide variety of things on our Nasu bingo card that could be.
Wait, no. Is a fucking fae, right?
Oh,
I read
yeah,
that
no,
wrong.
I mean, this is technically I think the tone of this question is, okay, so now we know for certain Beryl's a fucking fae, right? Like, you need to do the Pepe Silva voice.
I read that wrong. I read that Beryl is fucking gay fae.
That's the latter interpretation might be also true. As for what he is, no, that's the fucking on my bingo card. I don't know. I could definitely make some jokes about his ears, considering I'm semi caught up on the Owl House, still airing on Disney Channel. I wouldn't put a lot of things past Beryl. Anyway, there's 2 more question marks in this question.
Also, what is a primordial dragon anyway? Very fucking old and very fucking scary and very fucking powerful. Is it just a dragon from the Age of Gods? Actually,
Probably.
I don't know. Probably, yes.
Why you asking fucking Lost Belt 6 questions when we just finished Lost Belt 5? I don't know the answers to these things yet. We'll find out in a year. Ask me again in a year when I understand things.
Oh, I know. I'll do it with the fucking Hera the Ninth did. So this next one comes from, it's simple. We killed the Batman, struck through chaos. Again, guys, like, if we put weird shit in, like, weird things, how do you expect me to read this? I don't. It's just like...
Yeah, I don't know what the universal audiobook cue for reading a strike through is.
Yeah. I just did what they did in Harrow the Ninth. 5 more months! So Nona. I'm excited. Hey, Lucky Mega, how goes the stuff? It sucks. I'm trying to buy a house. Hope Mega has better luck with data lost. Took me 3 banners and more St. Courts than I hoped to spend, but she came home eventually. Twice even. My question to the 2 of you, if you can instantly MP5 an SSR that comes between now and the end of the year, who would you pick? So that starts from Voyager and ends with Koya Skyr of Darkness. The caveats, just a single giving you 50 USOs that can be only used on 1 servant. Who would you go for? Personally, Morgan. She's the one I eventually aim to level 120, so having a high MP level will certainly help loads. That's all for this week. Still reeling from who's poofing, even that makes sense. Even if that makes no sense. Like, she can't have erased herself from the throne like Solomon Romani did. Unless she was never in the thrones to begin with, which makes it all depressing and confusing. What?
It's our Chaldea records that are erased. Anyway.
Best of luck on your future roles and the goodest of vibes. Q good vibe beam. Why do people never fucking listen to...
Lucky just makes the sound. You don't need to actually, like, type it. The
See,
wah 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 will happen anyway.
You don't get this. You don't get the sound now. Fuck you.
You get the sound of me slamming my headphones into my microphone.
You get the sound of my disappointment, which I think some of you actually secretly want.
Masochists. I bet they play Elden Ring.
I bet they do. P.S. Pick Platinum the ticket. Time to bond 5 the count.
Anyway, there were like 4 questions in that question. Gosh, who would I hypothetically... I don't know if I'm going to love it. I will probably eventually play Elden Ring. I do not know if I will love it. I have a complex relationship with FromSoft games. I have put hours into games and not necessarily loved them. But 50 USOs, which is an interesting way to formulate this question. Who would? I gotta think with my brain. Lucky would have to, like, flip a coin because there's 2 coin skies in that list.
And a comma.
Yeah, that's true, and a comma. So more of a dice roll.
Yeah.
Let's see. Marsh. I'm thinking. Like,
Architect, you probably have the right of it. I'll probably have fun until I get to the wall. that separates, the boys from the men. Because I'm one of those players who's not going to be a fucking bitch and rely on summons to get me through all my the fucking game problems.
I probably would. Because I would be like, hey, they made this mechanic for a reason. Yes, I am a filthy casual. Listen, if... I don't remember how many fucking subs he has, but if Russian Badger can yell about how he's a filthy casual and actually, like, get offended on behalf of casualness to people in his Twitch chat, I'm like, fuck it, I can be a filthy casual.
Be a filthy casual. I don't care. You can do what you want. Just don't tell me what to do.
I'll tell you guys.
Yes, I can say that definitely is a diss, because they made a game so hard that you might need to that you yourself can't beat it and have to summon outside help from people who are much better at the game than you to do it. So yes, I can completely and utterly consider it a diss.
It's not necessarily people. There's also NPCs. They have to rebalance them. There's a lot of... We should not get into discussion about Elden Ring. But I was going to say, there is actually like a lot of complex thought, considering Elden Ring is not necessarily like a multiplayer balanced game like whatchamacallit, FromSoft puts a lot of thought into how people are supposed to interact with it and what they think is part of the system and is not. Whereas, funnily enough, Guerrilla actually nerfed legendary weapons in a patch that was not too long ago for some ungodly reason. I'm telling you, Horizon, the true Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. They did at least make it so you can turn off the pickup animation.
Whatever.
Anyway, we're not here to go into a deep dive. Axe, if you want to put Elden Ring's cock in your mouth, you can do that on your own time. We're not here to deep dive into how Elden Ring is the coolest. This is why we haven't played Elden Ring yet. My answer, I'll be basic. I'll say Muramasa.
Really?
So I don't have to worry about another New Year's servant with a sword. Oops, accidentally prematurely firing my mana burst. That's okay. Weaver can still do his battery. Well, yes, I am farming right now. Aren't you?
So, this next one is... Oh, yeah, here we go. This next one comes from a guy who looked up to the maths he needed to max out his wife, who is now scrambling to get 200 bones and 300 bullets.
Yep.
This is the pain. Yes. Hello there, Mermaid Lucky and Space Child Omega. Hope your day is going swimmingly. The SSR ticket has come, and Morgan has been claimed. Now I just need to get her to Bomb 5 to secure her, and she'll be fully maxed immediately. Hope your picks are doing just as well. Actually, how long do we have to do this again?
You got like 2 months. I think it's till late June.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
To get Bond 5, yeah, it's easy. You have to, like, actively not do it to fuck it up.
As for the question, I've recently decided to manually look up the amount of Saint Core we get from events and stuff, and found out a lot of the Saint Q sharks exclude the permanent missions that we get during certain campaigns. For example, did you know the next download campaign you can get 20 quartz for having 5 servants of each class max level? Nothing about that was included in the charts I've seen. So my question is, do you research the Saint Core the Saint Q rewards? Did I say Saint Q? Yes, I did. SQ rewards we get from events, and if so, do you do that with charts or try to go in manually? I know this is a long-winded question, but it's fresh on my mind, so I decided to ask. Still, feel free to geek if you find it annoying. Anyway, that's more for me from this week. Have a nice rest of your week, and remember that the Pyramids is Camelot. Remember, Pyramids is Camelot is the most efficient bond farming node right now. Bye-bye.
I mean, there's slight grammatical issues there.
I know. To me, the most efficient is just fucking farming embers, because I'll just do a 3 turns, stick someone in the back, and just mindlessly grind.
Yeah, it's the most efficient because I'm actually getting something out of that one. I don't need a bond farm. There's a fucking downloads campaign. Anyway, to answer your question, I'm going to cut out the long-winded parts and just be like, no, I do not.
Nope. Lucky research? No.
Like, hypothetically, they ask, like, did you know about the 20 Saint Courts? I can be like, at one point I probably did, because usually when new events happen in JP, I do try and keep abreast of what kind of rewards you can get, totaled at least. But if you're asking me to remember that, I don't fucking know. No, I do not remember. So yeah, that thing you talked about involves doing math, and I don't do that for fun. So yeah, that's where we are.
So, let us move on. This next one comes from Gahulian Guide, who says, hope you have a good weekend. I got the house to myself for the next 3 days, and I have plans to watch the new Tiger Bunny season on Netflix. Is it on Netflix? I guess it is. As for my question, to my understanding, MASH does have magical cervix. So if possible, what type of magecraft do you think she'd be interested to pursue? Well, unfortunately, I can't remember the magical mage department, so
There's a lot out there. It's not really that specified. I don't know. I assume MASH, because she's a supporter, would learn about healing, but I also genuinely don't know, because magecraft is weird and systemic. I don't even know what would be MASH's magical foundation.
Yeah.
Would she learn about space bullets? I don't know.
Clearly she joins the policies department.
MASH, your magical lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, no, we're the magical lawyer because we don't know what we're doing. Mash is our assistant. Great mage attorney. Fund it. I mean, Modern Magecraft is El Meloy's department, so that I think would work. I could see Mash amongst the zany circle of Waver's students. Sorry, I'm slightly bamboozled on Twitter. Somebody posted a picture where they put an emoji of an axe, but they're showing anime art of a booby lady with lots of cleavage carrying a sword, and I'm just like, what? What does this mean? What are you trying to say to me, internet?
Does Twitter have a sword emote?
I'm pretty sure sword is an emote.
Probably. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. The next one comes from Agent 418 who says, hello, Lucky Omega. Have a great weekend. Same to you, buddy. Thank you very much. We move on. This next one comes from Missing Lucky the Rabbit. 200 cent course reward for information leading to a safe return. Haha, joke's on you. I'm never safe. Happy Easter, Lucky and Omega. Just wanted to say keep up the good work as always and give Lucky a big ol' welcome back greeting. Like, no, don't. Give me like 50 million kills so I can do more bids on this house so I can, improve my chances. Because I'm going to die.
Be arranged. Not in a timely manner, though, because of the delay.
I am literally stressing myself out. I'm going to go look in the mirror. I'm going to have like 80 more gray hairs.
So you'll be a silver fox or rabbit?
Yeah, I'll
silver
be a
fox rabbit?
Silver fox rabbit. A fabbit.
By the way, talking about like us doing extra editing, I would, if I had the time and inclination, and this wasn't already kind of a pain in the ass with my machine as it is, though I have heard that the shortage on GPUs is starting to lighten up, so maybe I can get some parts at a reasonable price soon and juice this computer up. But I would love to take that moment where Lucky does the lean in and the deep speak and do like just punch in very slightly on the graphic and like deep fry it for like a half second. But that would be so much fucking work with our current workflow. It is absolutely not worth it. But yeah, that was a non-question response on Mailbag, so I guess that's it.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. I'm going back to Cyberpunk, and God, I need a drink. I genuinely need a fucking drink. I'm taking an alcohol break, and Omega can't stop me, so you can do what you want.
All right, folks, that's an intermission. All right. To this, everybody. That's a Cyberpunk reference.
I remember when I used to drink with my friends a long time ago. We would toast the most random fucking things. And I think my favorite one ever was everyone would tap, because, it's back, like, we don't, you don't tap glasses anymore because they get branky and stuff. You tap the table. But everyone would always, it just became a thing. We would just tap the table and everyone would go to Gandalf. For no fucking reason. It was just one of those things that just stopped.
That's nice. Just as an in-joke. That's good. I think the best one I've ever heard, which I'm sure was a reference, but it was an APM listening where they decided to do Fiasco the round robin game with shots in between each round, which is probably a very fun way to play Fiasco, but definitely a way to get demented. But the last toast was, I propose a toast to toast. I like toast. And I'm just like, this is good. I'll remember that one.
I think the worst ever take a shot game I ever fucking played is I played Risk 2210.
Oh no!
Which was a very fun game, and you'd have to take a shot every time you won a country and every time you lost a country.
Well, okay, hold on. Just skip the middleman. Just do shots then. There's no point. If you win or you lose, you take a shot.
Yes. It was so stupid. We went through an entire bottle of vodka. Like, I ended up puking. Like, we were like, my buddy was like, I need a fucking IV. It was chaos.
Yeah, no, don't do that one. No, like if you do it like a penalty game, like like beer pong, every time you lose you take a sip. That works, but like just
listen. This was the early 20s when I thought I was invincible. Did I just shoot a cop? No, you're not a cop. Perfect. Okay. I'll go shoot more of them.
It's okay. If you shot a cop, they'll fucking get over it in like 5 minutes. Just drive away. You gotta do shit. Yeah. Okay. That's the end of the mailbag. Lucky has his Jackie Wells.
The Splash of Love.
Which, if you didn't know, is, other than the Splash of Love, is just a Moscow Mule. But the Splash of Love could be anything, so you never know. But we're here to the free talk, which is mostly going to be patron shilling or not shilling, and also talking about stuff. Because we do have a new servant, Dietz. The welfare finally happened. He is here. Yes, it is a he. Normally, he is a Shota, but he can become larger in his NP. Has two different voice actors, by the way, for small and normal size.
It just means the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so we have our newest member of the Welfare family. We're adding a new Welfare alter ego, and this one is AoE. It's Taisui Angry Dallas Noises. I'm just gonna give up. I'm gonna give up on these consonants. It's not China's fault. It's fucking England's fault for arranging this. It's the British. I mean, I would hope for a costume, but I don't know. Maybe later. Maybe in the rerun. So, considering there's only like 3 or 4 alter ego 4-stars, and 2 of them are the same, it should not shock you that Taisui here does have distinctive stats by having the lowest attack but the highest HP of the 4-star slot. Yes, even more than Lip. Not by a lot, but bigger, yes. Quick Arts Buster with slightly low NP gain for average hit counts. I've got some theories for this later, but it's like, I think 0.47, and you've got 3 hit arts cards, so it's a little limp. We do have a fairly interesting NP for our alter ego selection here, though. So this is an arts AoE. It's also only 3 hits, so don't get excited. It inflicts a special timed debuff called Misfortune on enemies that procs when they die. I do not believe we have a lot of our servants who do this, even though this is, as seen from Olympus, very popular for bosses to fuck you over when they kill you. But so the way this Misfortune debuff works is it goes on all your enemies as well. It's AoE. It happens first. So, by the way, it will proc if you kill some of the enemies. It can be great for boss waves. But if the enemy with that debuff dies, the remaining enemies take 20% defense down, 1k curse, and plus 100% damage evil curse, so the curse is 2k for 3 turns. So if you murder a guy while they've got this debuff, they get death down and effectively 2k curse damage, plus also doubling curse damage for 3 turns. So, pretty spicy. Especially since Ashidoman also does a lot of curse stuff and is already an alter ego. There's some immediate synergy there. It also, by default, drops 2k curse on enemies for 5 turns. So, 4k if you kill someone in there. And does bonus damage to the human attributes. So, this is a fairly spicy hit with some dot potential, but not necessarily directly translating to raw damage output, because low attack. Our first skill is a party-wide 10 to 20% arts and NP gain up for 3 turns, and 5 to 10 stars per turn. Pretty normal stuff. Second skill gives a targeted ally 1 to 3k guts for 3 turns, a 1-time 3 turns debuff immunity, and a 50% to 100% buff removal resist for 1-time 3 turns. So a pretty comprehensive don't fuck up package. And then the final skill is skill seal on all enemies, which I know there was a lot of like old school FGO wisdom is skill seal is bad, but I think with the advent of tougher and tougher bosses who are annoying, skill seal is great. But it drops skill seal on all enemies. It gives Taisui 20 to 30% NP up on self for 3 turns, and also is a 20 to 30% battery. So obviously you've got a low inherent NP gain, but with 20% team-wide NP gain up and a 30% battery, they've left some wiggle room so that you probably won't be looping inherently, but definitely will actually still gain some decent NP. Passives are Magic Resistance A, Item Construction C, so an improvement on the debuff chance for that skill seal and stuff.
Yay.
And Divinity A-, interestingly enough, but still damage plus. Basically, you're looking at a fairly effective farming and semi-supporter to roll debuffs and dot onto enemies, goes well with curse team comps. I assume they kind of made some of the NP gain a little softball because this is going to be a free alter ego who goes to NP5, presumably, and already will make certain kinds of farming a breeze, right?
Right.
So they probably wanted to not, like, go ham on your looping, and I'm sure you can probably still arrange with, like, Castoria to go apeshit. Like, double Castoria probably gives you enough juice that it's fine. Still a very interesting servant. Taisui is an alter ego, which means they are a, composite kind of servant. They seem to have the name both of a character from the Investiture of the Gods, the same source as Taigon Wang, but also a name of a, like, traditional Chinese spookum, a demon or spirit who is a weird fleshy mass that lives underground and follows the movements of Jupiter. Hence why there's a lot of Jupiter emphasis in this servant. And if you eat its flesh, you gain immortality, which is, what that second skill's about. So there's a lot of, weirdness and weird vibes to be had here, I'm sure, that are explained by stuff happening in the story. As this character, shows up at basically the last minute to do the things. But still, fairly interesting, I would not have put a second Welfare Alter Ego high on my list, especially because they did just technically rerun Mecha Ellie. But, this does wildly different things.
I'm about to say it's, Mecha Ellie single target. This is AoE, so.
Yeah. I feel like with the way the release for, Salem came about, Mecha Ellie was a welfare so that to make sure that you had somebody who could fight the final bosses of this new story event, right?
Right.
Because they were introducing a new class and everything. Whereas Taisui definitely feels like, okay, we can give you a farmer. It's fine. We've given you some options. You got a brand new pretender and stuff. You got your various options for things. We gave you a welfare foreigner last year. We can tuck in a new welfare alter ego who does something different. And so here we are.
I don't think that means what they might do. I wonder if they're going to do something interesting for the Golden Week welfare then.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are curious about that. A lot of people were like, I can't believe, are we really going to get 2 welfares in a month? And I'm like, that's not that weird. But yeah, no, it seems like we're going a little ham on the welfare to start of the year, as they like to do. So there's some interesting things there. We'll have to see how that one shakes out. I don't know when we're going to get news on the collab. We still got a couple of weeks before that starts.
Yeah, it's the first week of May, so we got a little bit. Well, yeah. Golden Week is, I should say.
Yeah. So we've got a little bit before that news will develop. And that's all I really got in the free talk. There's no news story right now. We're just farming like crazy pants farmers. Keeping up with all the stuff happening. Working on servants. I'm farming literally right now. There is some interesting news out there, but most of it's speculatory. Since we are at the halfway point of the month, though, I can check in with some Patron polls that have been going on. Shocking nobody. What Are the Ultimate Ones has one with its slight lead, so we'll expect to be going into that sometime in the next couple of weeks. So yes, we'll cover that. Don't worry, we will still cover the Extella question, but that'll probably be next month, unless I come up with some other stuff to pollify. But the Fanservant Friday poll has also ended. Only had 15 votes, guys. Come on, you can try a little harder. How can I convince more people to support us on Patreon and vote if all the people who can vote don't even vote? But that one also, I'm not going to say surprisingly, but still, decently forecast. George Washington won our writer list with 53%. Ferdinand von Zeppelin, oddly enough, 40% behind. No love for Jacques Cousteau. Do you guys not like the ocean?
I mean, you don't like the ocean.
No, but I do like the song Ocean Man. But yeah, so that'll be another fun one. Once again, look forward to that in the next couple of weeks and see where things go. But I don't really have anything super to check in on there, so... Ugh, let me scratch my nose. I want to, inflate the audio so we roll over the 2-hour mark because we're very close, but I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, obviously, we talked about this earlier. There will be a Sakura-con panel. There will probably be some kind of something out of that, whether that's just, 10 sync course to celebrate, or if Albert has actual, announcements or previews for us, or if he'll just, do some interesting questions and stuff. I don't know. There's no, special guests or anything. I don't think they're making a huge deal out of it. The blurb is tiny. That is, though, why I assume that there will probably be some follow-up news or sync courts or something. Mm-hmm. We're still doing our logins and stuff. The banner started a little bit early, but it's got some time to go. If everything is as planned, everybody has been saying Gouda Gouda should be next, and it should actually be next. That is next in the list. I do not know if things will get wacky and wild or anything, but it is what should be in our slot next. Sorry, brief shiver. Let's see, 2020 April. Yeah, no, we're technically ahead of schedule in April because it's the last thing in April is 20 million downloads, which we got as 17 million downloads, and then it's just in May, Final Honoji rerun and Requiem collab with pre-release campaign, which was delayed slightly, so it's several later weeks. I'm guessing. Let's see, when does our lovely downloads event end? Technically, 7 million downloads campaign, the 21st. That's still a couple weeks ahead. I would still expect we would probably get the Gouda Gouda rerun right then. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that one. That'll be fun to dive back into that for some stuff, I'm sure. Hopefully they'll give me some further free tchotchkes.
I love free tchotchkes.
Did we get some QP out of that event? Oh, that is a big poster. Saint Germain? I don't know off the top of my head. Probably Caster? I know he was a Sulci with the cult stuff. Jacques Cousteau has definitely been on list before, but no, I have not actually done that one. I double-checked. We did the Red Baron, but you guys have not actually voted for Jacques or... at least I'm pretty sure, because I've double-checked all the polls. And definitely haven't voted for Zeppelin yet, because I haven't been able to yell about rigid airships. Alas, alack, I must wait for further. But lucky, if you've not seen this image of this Raita poster, you should go check it out.
Oh, I have. I want it.
All right. It's apparently large.
It's sick.
And it's available on Amazon JP, everybody.
Might have to pick it up.
I'll scratch my nose. I would love to be able to... No, that's the wrong skill. Activate my skills out of order. I was just about to say I would love to be able to say that I've gotten my permanent on air, but I do not think I can do that because we're still chipping away. I think Tamo has a fairly linear bond growth. The first couple were easy, and then it gets bigger and bigger. Sometimes units have weird bond growth, but here we are. So, yeah, I mean, there's no point in inflating the show longer than it will go, so if we're out of juice, we're out of juice. I'm sorry, I'm fighting my fucking giant headphone cord. It's wrapping around my legs and stuff. I need you to get out my face, but not so much out of your face you pull out of the plug. Okay. But, anyway, since I feel like I need a good opportunity to stretch, I will wrap up the show and we can stretch. We can all go stretch.
Yay.
So, first of all, as usual, I like to add this bit, but do make sure to check out What's Up, especially if you're craving more extra length of this. There's only so much yelling about the downloads campaign we can do. I already yelled about what's in it last week, and y'all already know how we picked. Obviously, if you've locked in yours and you haven't already yelled in our Discord, you can leave in the comments, but I would like to remind everybody, if you want extra us content, tune into What's Up. It's live every weekend shortly. Well, I don't know how shortly, but, sometime after this comes out. And I won't look a gift horse in the mouth with an episode that's shorter. I love getting to bed before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
But, seriously, watch What's Up. It's usually at least a couple of hours, and I feel like we've got a decent spread of various random bits and bobs to talk about. If you want to hear Lucky yell about housing... Oh, nope, hey, I can do it. There it was. We just hit level 5.
Yay.
I did it. On camera. Locked in, everybody. Am I going to get summoning dialogue now? I think I will. I won't play it for you. You guys can know what time it's got. Yep. Yay. Bloop, bloop. There you go. Celebrate, everybody.
I'll take a drink. This
is very funny that she's playing her... I mean, has now arrived. Yes, very relevant. Thank you, Tomo. But very funny that they play her, summon dialogue at the end after I've already seen all her fucking Ascension lines. Because you do this first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, now I'm going to need to go take a detour to do her interlude, but I'll do that later. Probably while the episode's cooking. Anyway, tune into What's Up. We're going to talk about various things. Hear Lucky yell about Teddy Bear RPG Lit. You can hear me yell about the free-to-play video game Enlisted. And many other random crap. I've been chipping away at Delta Green. I got some stuff to drop on some people.
Oh, no.
Things to talk about.
I should be concerned.
Excerpts from... Oh, you should be, but I'll double tease you. I've got a tease, but it's a tease for tomorrow, so I'll tease you, then I'm going to tease you about the future teasing. Anyway, What's Up's a great time. You should check it out. I don't know what video game Lucky's going to play, but it will be something.
It'll be something.
It'll be Final Fantasy XIV, and it'll just be Lucky staring at his house plot.
It might be.
Vibrating. But yeah, it's a good time, and you should check it out if you want more of us. So, I will now do the proper outro, and that goes a little something like this. If you're watching this video, be sure to give it a like if you liked it. Likes are very important for the algorithm and stuff. Feed it likes. Feed YouTube likes. We will get bigger and stronger, and eventually, our workflow will be able to do funny jokes with videos. Do some clip editing, whatever. If you have any comments, you can leave in the comment section down below. Be sure, doing like a bad Yu-Gi-Oh pun here, for hire. Be sure to leave what you got on your ticket and how that's working out for you in the comments down below. A call to action, as they say. You can also join our Discord. Link is always in the video description and on our channel page. There may be a new dedicated thread to fighting games soon. I don't know. Sorry, I'm checking off Discord notes. But, Discord is cool, so check that out.
Yeah.
In general, by the way, it seems like people from several of the fighting game yellies are pro the thread, so I'll probably set that up soon. Let's see. Discord, next thing is subs, yeah. Hey, we're like 2 away from 30-50. Do it. Just 2 more subs. Click it. Click sub now. Tell your friends to click sub. Tell your enemies to click sub. Everybody click sub. We're going up there. Obviously, I would like to go to 3,100, but just the fact that we're like 2 away from 50, taunts me. Round numbers, everybody. Give me those round numbers.
I am a fan of ending all my digits in 5s and 0s, yes.
Come on, help me out. It's base 10, everybody. I've got 10 fingers. I count to 10 very easily. So, sub, even if you're already subbed, hit that bell for notifications so there's no posted video or when we do a stream. Like, I don't know, if Lucky is super busy and I have to do an impromptu live stream for Let's Talk. I don't know if that's ever going to happen again, but it might. You should ring the bell to know. It'll give you a little vibe. And make sure it's set to all to make sure it works. I know there's been some weirdness with that, but yeah, check it out. It's good. Let's see. And then next is channel memberships. Join our channel memberships for emotes and membership badges. You can do cool shoutouts during live streams, like What's Up, and it helps support us, even if we cuss and stuff. And also, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. You could have voted in those polls, like for Teach Me Omega, Sensei, and for Fanservant Friday. You can listen to every Let's Talk FGO live at the 10 and up level. We, stream it basically live to our Discord. You can join the patron chat, and we can, yell back and forth at you. It's a fun time. Good work. Thumbs up, everybody. And it just, in general, supports us. You can do this for as little as $1 a month or roughly $10 a year because you can do annual supports as well. That gets you access to the episode in audio format, downloadable, early, usually, right after I finish recording. I leave Discord, I start pushing buttons in Audacity to edit, and then that goes up first because rendering the video takes longer. But yeah, it's just a good way to help us out, and it's really cool, and I'm looking for those numbers to go up. We do rookie numbers. We need bigger numbers. And big in the numbers. But this has been another Let's Talk FGO. I think that's everything for this week. We'll probably see you guys next week for more Let's Talk FGO. Keep your eyes on the prize for Wanted Voyager whenever they get around to announcing Requiem. And, tune into What's Up as well, and any of the other stuff we may happen to do during the week. Like stream on Monday. Like he's playing Skyward Sword. We're going to be in another dungeon. You should watch it. Yeah, I think with all our yays and stuff, that's it.
Oh, he's a tired boy.
Yeah. I finished the outro and suddenly all my energy is gone. I have completely powered down. There's nothing left for me.
Well, we're going to go power down, everyone. Have a good evening.
Jersey.